Yeah. So you've been to a couple of the constellations, and what has been your experience of it? Is it like you thought? Is it very different?
I didn't know how to imagine it. I've done them with you one-on-one with the dolls, but I found that in the group it's very, very different and way more powerful for me personally. And I loved how meditative it is. Like I was in this very peaceful, meditative state the whole time, even though I did have emotional releases. They were still like on this very peaceful plane almost. Yeah, and it's very hard to describe. You're doing a really good job, but it's hard to describe how the process actually happens.
Yeah.
But I was blown away that we were able to represent even my country and like pieces of history that, you know, were a big role in my life, I guess played a big role in my life.
Yeah.
So not just family members and relationships in my life, but also like a relationship with a country or a relationship with an event in history.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had people represent rivers and trees and or a house, and that could be really wild.
How about one-on-one? How does it work?
So one-on-one work is something I often do here in this office, and it's really nice because it's very efficient. I just use dolls or representatives, and some of my clients know them, like, not the dolls. But when the dolls come out, it's really beautiful, and it can be transformative. They simply, it's simply, again, it's that idea of looking outside of something to see something different. And sometimes I can step in as well. I think one of the beautiful parts about the group dynamic, though, is that, you know, in history, in human history, we've always had a deep meaning in healing from a group level, whether it's in a church, a temple, a ritual. And I think there's something different when I can also draw from the gifts that everyone has.
What if I bump into somebody I know in the group?
That can happen with communities. And I think, you know, we emphasize, and you've been so helpful in helping me emphasize the safe container, confidentiality, and that part of the healing work that goes on with a constellation is letting go of what we think we know. And so in that process, everybody's empty. I have clients that I've worked with many times already, individually or in a group, that will come out in a constellation, and I set the intention that I don't know anything about them because it helps. And I just listen for the key words that have movement or energy behind them. And that energy moves me to help lead the constellation in a certain way. You could say it's intuitive, but it's really just being present in the moment. And that's all you need. You've been so helpful in helping initiate and invoke certain energies and qualities to move into the group. What has that been like?
It's been really wonderful. It's the work that I love the most. And I think it's important with anything that we do in life, but it's especially with healing modalities to establish a strong intention, but to also clean ourselves of the day we had before we entered the space, with any expectations, any nerves. So we do that in a circle with meditation before we start the work. And we also do it after the constellation takes place, to reset, to get back to our bodies, and to also prepare for the world that's outside the door, right? We also prepare people a little bit for the integration process that might be physical. You might have some body aches, or you might feel great and have crazy amounts of energy the next day. You might feel a little down or up, you know, like anything can happen. But that's all normal, and we talk about it in the circle. And if something shows up that's really bothering you, I like to be available for people to reach out and, you know, to keep the container safe even once the work is done in the group.
Yeah, so we're paying attention to that, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
great. Well, I look forward to experiencing more with you, and if people have more questions, we can definitely answer.
And thank you for doing this work.
Yeah, thank you.